The exciting new Windows 11 available to the general public on October 5th, Tuesday of this week. Today is Sunday, October 3rd, 2 days away. Now, does that mean you're going to be able to upgrade your computer to it and install it? Maybe, maybe not. That piece isn't clear. I'm going to prepare a couple of computers here during this video to be prepared for that on Tuesday in case it is available, and I'll create videos showing how it's done, both on the computer that meets the minimum requirements and the computer that doesn't meet the minimum requirements. I'll do a quick little introduction for you right here. On the left, this Dell Inspiron desktop 3800 with an i3 10100 processor is the one that meets the minimum requirements, and I'm going to run the test on it during this video to find out if it does meet the minimum requirements. And I have not actually run that test yet. It's possible that it could fail the test because I'm not sure if TPM is turned on. I just took this computer out of the box yesterday and did the Windows 10 initialization on it. The computer on the right, I'll click up here, is an HP Envy 15. There's the model number. It's an i7 5500U. That's a few years old. It's in my dining room, and that's a computer that I use every day. It's a laptop. This one on the left is a computer that I purchased for my clients to resell to a client that's just been sitting around in inventory for a while. So we're going to get looking at those in a couple minutes, but first I want to get something out on the table. Windows 11 is available to the general public this Tuesday, but should you upgrade? If you're asking that question, my opinion, no, you shouldn't. If you have not already answered that question for yourself, that you want it, you gotta have it, then you really shouldn't. You ought to wait for a little while and see how it all shakes out. There's been lots of people testing it, and there's lots of people that have been testing it that I have heard from that have said, I have it installed and I have no problem. And they seem to imply by that nobody else is going to have a problem either. Don't count on it. Don't count on that. Maybe it's going to go smooth. Maybe it's not. We don't know yet. Microsoft has deprecated a lot of features in Windows 11, meaning taken features away that are in Windows 10. Could those cause side effects for people with certain specific configurations or hardware or software that they're using? I have to say we don't know yet. Maybe, maybe not. So I want to encourage you, if you don't know that you want it, you got to have it, then wait for a little while. But if you've already decided that you want it when it's available to the general public this Tuesday, then yeah, maybe I can be of some help to you. I'm going to show how I'm going to prepare these two computers for Tuesday, and then on Tuesday I'll actually do the installations on them side by side, meaning I'm going to show them on the screen here, and I'm going to do those upgrades with them on screen side by side with this computer on the left, well, on the left of the screen here, that it does meet the minimum hardware requirements, and the one on the right that does not meet the minimum hardware requirements. So, with that much started, does that cover everything I want to do to preface this? I guess there's a lot that I could talk about as far as the new features and the fun stuff that might, appeal to you, why you might want it, and there's a list of stuff that is no longer available or disadvantages or things that some people are going to grumble about. I'm not going to go into that in this video because I just can't cover everything in this video. This video is going to be about preparing these two computers for the upgrade that we might be able to do on Tuesday. So with that much, now let's go look at some information first. So I'm going to bring up a web browser here. If you go to Google search or any search engine and search for upgrade to the new Windows 11, what you're looking for, skip over the advertisements. You're looking for this one that says upgrade to the new Windows 11 OS, and then Microsoft, and make sure it has a Microsoft.com address. When you click on it, here's what you get. We'll get this. Oh, I love that airplane flying. I'm a pilot, so yeah, I like that airplane. And I don't know if they're going to wind up changing that at some point. These introductory photos could change. But anyway, introducing Windows 11, there's a whole bunch of temptations here. There are all kinds of teases here, telling about things that you can do with Windows 11. And they're not very specific, so they're kind of like television commercials. They don't really tell you a whole lot about the product. But the only reason why we came to this page is to get all the way down to here, check for compatibility. You'll click on this Download PC Health Check app, install it on your computer, which I'm going to do on these two computers. Not the one that you're looking at right now, because that's my computer number 2. It's the one that I use to connect remotely to those other computers. So we'll get to that. And I want to show a little bit more about these two computers. Now, this is another page, Windows 11 available on October 5th, that gives some more information about highlights of this release. Coming down here, Windows Insider, ready to roll out. So this gives other information, all these different computers that are going to be available with Windows 11 on them. And then the reason why I had this one here is to show you this specification page that may also be of interest. And when you go there, it tells system requirements, it gives some details about requirements, and here's feature-specific requirements for Windows 11. So the new glitzy features, some of them have additional hardware requirements, and that's what this section tells about. And then you scroll down further, and here's feature deprecations and removals. So these are things that are no longer available in Windows 11 that used to be available in Windows 10. Now, let's move along here on my tabs. I want to show you the two computers that I'm going to be doing this on, give you a little bit of orientation to them. The computer that does meet the minimum requirements according to looking at the specifications. Again, I haven't tried the PC Health Check yet on that computer. You're going to see me do that live. So this is a Dell Inspiron model 3880. It's a 10th gen Intel i3 10100 CPU. And that's enough there for us to know that it meets the minimum requirements. I paid $506.40 on June 7th, 2021 and ordered that from Amazon. There's a link in the description of this video to that computer. It's a Carey Holzman affiliate link, meaning if you click on that link and then buy that computer or anything else after clicking on that link, Carey Holzman, if you're familiar with him, whether you're not familiar with him or not, he still gets credit for the sale. And he's another YouTuber that's a real working technician like I am doing YouTube videos. So that's all I need to show about that one over here. Oh, well, here's what it looks like. And it's sitting on the floor it's sitting over on the floor over there. You can see the top of it there. It's not up on the desk because it has a little bit of noise, little tiny bit of noise that I don't want to come through on the video. But this is what it looks like, and this is more information about it. Now then we'll move on to the laptop. The laptop I ordered November 7th, 2015. I did not pay $1,300 for it. I bought 2 of them on this order. Here's quantity 2 at $599.99 each. So that's actually more than this Dell computer, right? Yeah, more. And it's not capable of Windows 11. Doesn't meet the minimum requirements. It might be capable. I'm not going to be convinced until I try it. I think this minimum system requirements, if it does allow us to upgrade to Windows 11 on a computer that does not meet those hardware requirements, that all that really means, I think, is that Microsoft is not going to consider themselves to be obligated to fix things through Windows Update or assure you that it's secured to their level of expectations. The information that they receive back from your computer that tells them how your computer is performing, if that information tells them that there are problems with it, it's going to be lower on the list to fix those problems. That's the kind of thing that I think is going on, because so far we have not found or heard of any programmatic way that they have made to prevent people from installing on a computer that does not meet the hardware requirements. The insiders, people that have been running Windows 11 for a while, they were specifically allowed to install it and encouraged to install it on computers that did not meet the minimum requirements. And part of that reasoning is for, I think, for Microsoft to get an idea how it's going to react to computers that don't meet the minimum requirements. So far, there's been no one, including Microsoft, that has given a technical reason why Windows 11 can't run on a computer that does not meet the requirements. My opinion, it will. It's just that you're not assured of the level of security. You're not assured that Microsoft is going to fix things or fix problems that come up. So, more about this computer. I purchased this from Woot, W-O-O-T. It's a place where you get really steeply discounted merchandise. And this was factory reconditioned. When I received these two computers, they were beautiful, beautiful in condition. And one of them I've been using ever since then. The other one I sold to a client. I have no idea who I sold it to. So it's an HP Envy X360, 15.6 inch. It's an i7. And this, let's see, go into more details. It's an i7 5500U. So anyone who has been following this whole hardware requirements, when they see that 55U, they know off the top of their head that is not a new enough processor to meet the minimum requirements. So those are the computers that are the contenders here in the separate corners of my screen. Then Media Creation Tool, if you go to your search engine and type Media Creation Tool, and that'll take us to the Media Creation website. As of today, Sunday, October 3rd, there is no mention on this page about Windows 11. My speculation is that on October 5th, it will be available here. I don't know that for sure. That's my speculation, right? That's not opinion. I'm not saying I believe this. I'm saying it might be there. Because it makes sense to me that if Windows 11 computers are available to purchase, and if some computers are being offered the Windows 11 update, there should be a way to create installation media so that you can fix something if it goes wrong. So it seems to me that it should be here. Microsoft has not said one way or the other. And as far as why do they not give us more information? Well, I think behind closed doors, Microsoft staff and leaders do a lot of arguing about what they should and should not tell the general public. And the choices as far as what they decide to tell is they just decided to tell the minimum amount that they want to be obligated to. It makes sense to do that. That way, if something goes wrong, if something misfires, if Windows 11 winds up causing a lot of problems to the computers that are upgrading and they have put it on the Media Creation Tool, they could turn around and take it off because they haven't made any promises regarding that. So there's an opinion I have about why we complain about Microsoft not communicating very well. It's because they want to keep their options open is one of the reasons. And I think they argue a lot between closed doors about what they should and should not reveal or tell or promise. So, I don't know if that's right. That's just my idea. Let's minimize this and get busy with doing this. So here's the computer on the left. So now all I did on this is I did the most basic Windows 10 initialization. And I'm going to go to, let's do google.com. Sorry, Microsoft, I'm not going to your search engine because I like Google for a search engine. I don't care what somebody uses. And then let's do the search for upgrade to the new Windows 11, and it shows up there in the search suggestion. So I'll just press my down arrow to highlight that one and press enter. And then I want to skip these advertisements. I'm looking for the one that says upgrade to the new Windows 11 operating system, Microsoft, and it has Microsoft address. This is the one that's going to get me to the PC health check. I'll just scroll all the way down. I'm not going to bother looking at any of all of those images. And then here is check for compatibility. Download PC health check app. So I click on that, and that downloads up here in the upper right corner because the browser I'm using right now is Microsoft Edge. Then I'll click on open file. And then click on the checkbox for I accept the terms and the license agreement and click on install. Then open Windows PC Health Check. I'll leave that check mark on. I don't need to add it to the desktop. Click finish. And that's going to open it. And just right away, it's going to tell me introducing Windows 11. Let's check if this PC meets the system requirements. It's just this check now button right there is what I'm going to do. It has more stuff down here. I'm not going to go through all that. It tells information about this computer. Clicking check now, and then this PC meets Windows 11 requirements. Great news, Windows 11 is free and coming soon. Check device specifications for apps and features that exceed minimum system requirements and Windows 10 features that aren't available in Windows 11. So there's some apps and features that need higher level of equipment. And then that's all. That's it. This computer is qualified. So now let's go look at the other computer in the other corner. So I'm on Google right here, and I'll search for upgrade to the new Windows 11. There it is. By the time I typed the word new, maybe it was before that, I'm not sure, and press enter. And then scroll down, and here's this one, upgrade to the new Windows 11 OS, and click on that. Goes to that page, drag the scroll bar all the way down to the bottom, just a little touch above the bottom. So I'll just click in this shaded area above the scroll box to get up one screen worth. And then download PC Health Check. It downloads in the bottom left corner because this is Google Chrome that I'm using this time. As soon as that stops flashing, then I can click on it to install that. And there's validating install, and it just is running right now, doing the installation. And that screen went away, and here it's down on the taskbar. And I'll click on that to bring it up to the top. So same thing here, gives some information about this computer. I'll click on check now. And what do you know? It does not meet the Windows 11 system requirements. This PC doesn't currently meet Windows 11 system requirements. Remember that comment I made about Microsoft wanting to keep their options open so that they can change things down the road? This has been one of the speculations that they might lighten up on the minimum requirements, meaning bring some more computers into the fold. Maybe it'll do that, maybe they won't. I don't know. It tells us why here. TPM 2.0, that's Trusted Platform Module 2.0, must be supported and enabled on this PC. It's possible that TPM is on this PC and it's just not enabled. I know that not to be the case. However, there is a BIOS upgrade available for this computer I have not yet installed. And it's possible that it will meet that requirement once I install that upgrade. I don't know. I haven't researched that. I don't care to yet. I want to try to upgrade this computer to Windows 11 without doing that, just to find out if we can. This processor currently isn't supported by Windows 11. So is it possible that, let's suppose on Tuesday it fails to upgrade to Windows 11. Well, if I do that BIOS upgrade and that does give me TPM 2.0 or equivalent, there's some other nuances to that requirement, is it possible that it will work even though the CPU is too old? It might not. Although it has this red X. So you would think that this red X means more. It's more of a hard stop. It's more of a hard fail. I don't think that's what that means. I think that means that this processor doesn't support Windows 11, doesn't meet the minimum requirements, and there's nothing that can be done about that. I think this yellow is saying that it doesn't currently pass that, but you might be able to fix that. And that's what this more about enabling TPM 2.0 tells about. All right, so that's all for that. Now, the next thing that I want to do is do an image backup. If you upgrade to Windows 11 and you decide it doesn't feel right, doesn't seem to be working right, you're probably going to be able to go into the setup screen on Windows 11 and revert to the old operating system. They did that with going from Windows 7 to Windows 10, but it was only, I think, about 10 days that you could do that. And I think at the beginning it was a longer period of time than they cut it down. So you would probably be able to do that. And if the upgrade tries to install and it fails, the installation code should automatically roll back to the way your computer was prior. I don't really trust that on the computer that I have in my dining room. I don't want to have to rebuild it. I don't want to have problems with it. If it does upgrade to Windows 11 and I later decide I want to get back to Windows 10, let's suppose it's a month or two before I decide I want to go back. Well, if I have an image backup, I can do that. An image backup is super easy to do. Takes a little bit of... Does it take technical know-how? Well, I think you'll be able to follow my instructions here, what I'm going to show, and do it, even if you're not technically inclined. So that's what I'm hoping this will provide value for. So I highly recommend having an image backup. If you know you can get along without it, you're probably right. But consider it at least. So let's get to which computer I'm doing this on. Yes, it's the laptop I'm going to do this with. So I'm going to minimize these windows. And then what I'm going to do is go, well, I guess I could have left that browser open. I'm going to go to a website for Macrium Reflect. That's spelled M-A-C-R-I-U-M. And then Reflect, R-E-F-L-E-C-T. I'm looking for their website here. It's Macrium.com. I could have just typed in Macrium.com to go to that. And Macrium Software Reflect Free Edition. It is free for personal use. Fully legitimately free for personal use. Now, I have a license for it. I use it for business purposes. So I have a license for it. But I'm showing you how you can do it and use it for free. Now, it's a little tricky on some software that claims to be for free. We don't want to do a trial. This part up here is for business. Scroll down further. This part is for home. Here's a Reflect 7 free, and then Reflect 8 home trial. And you might say, well, I want the newer version, right? Well, that's a trial, meaning after the trial period is over, then you have to pay for it. If you want the free version, it's the Reflect 7 free. It's completely adequate for personal use. You don't need the latest, greatest. And then here's the differences some of the differences between those two. So anyway, we'll click on Download Free. Now it occurs to me right now, this computer already has Macrium Reflect installed on it, but I'm going to show you the installation procedure. I need a personal free license, or I need a commercial free license. We're going to select the personal free license and then click Continue. That downloads into the bottom left corner because I'm using Google Chrome here. Once it stops flashing, I can click on it to initialize the installation. Now, when I download something that I want to install, I typically copy that or move that installation file to another folder to where I can keep it and hold on to it. But if you're a normal end user wanting to do this, you can just run the installation from there. It's fine. Up here, Macrium Reflect software to download. We want the free version. That's what it's already highlighting because we already said that's what we want. Save to folder, the default is just fine. If you know better and know how you want to do it, then go ahead and make the change here that you want to do. We'll run the installer directly after downloading. That's fine. So the default choices here are just fine. And then click download. This is downloading that installer for the program. So then it's going to install the program and then open the program. Then I'm going to talk about where are you going to back this up to. We're going to talk about the options available there. So I answer yes to this user account control to allow it to do that installation, and then click on the next button. And here's actually doing the installation. Click next here, and then accept the terms, and click next, and then select home. Here's another place where you can choose home or commercial. So notice up here it's Reflect 7, so this is version 7. And they do actually have a commercial free edition. And I don't off the top of my head recollect the differences for that or their requirements for that. But that's available. So register this installation. I don't like to register it. I don't want to provide that information. I just want to get this done. I don't want to get any information from them. Click next. It might not be obvious to you that you can do that. You can just, if you don't remove that check mark, then it's going to force you to enter that information there. Remove the check mark, click next. So then here, install desktop shortcut. So that gives you an icon on your desktop for launching it. You'll probably want that. I don't bother with that. I just hit the Windows key and type reflect, and it comes up in the search results. I don't need an extra icon on my desktop. And then click install. Now, so far, I have not done any pausing during this downloading and installing any of these processes. So you're seeing the real time that it takes to do these steps. We may come across, depends upon how much I actually show in the video. There may come times when I just let it run, and you might want to fast forward the video by holding down the shift key and press the period a couple times to make the video run faster, or use the letter L on your keyboard to jump forward 10 seconds at a time, I think that is, or the right arrow key to jump forward 5 seconds at a time. So here, completing the Macrium Reflect wizard and launch now. Click finish. We'll go ahead and do that. And there is the Macrium Reflect program. Task scheduler, convert now or later. No, we're not going to do anything with the task scheduler. And let's see, I haven't even seen that come up before. So I'm just going to say convert later. I want to point out here that here's the C drive showing on the screen. And you see all this blank space? What I'm going to do on this computer, and this is a technique that I use often when I'm connecting remotely to a client's computer to do the upgrade on their computer remotely, I can't go over there and plug in an external backup drive. Well, I could, but if I do that, it's extra time. So I'm going to do a little technique here that you could do, and I think it's reasonably safe for you to follow these instructions. Some people, when they see what I'm about to do, they're going to object. No, 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 no. Normal users should not be doing that. So if you feel nervous about doing this, don't do it. It'd be better to plug in an external backup drive so that you've got a little more margin of safety. So use your judgment on that once you see what I'm going to do here. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to split this space approximately in half. I'm going to use the second half of the space to store the backup image of the C drive. And it's pretty quick and easy to do in my mind. So if you find this really weird and difficult, then don't do it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come down to the Windows button in the bottom left corner of that computer. I'm not going to do it down here because this one down here is my computer number 2 that I'm using to be connected remotely to these two computers. So here's the Windows button on the bottom left corner of that computer. I'll click the right mouse button and then click Disk Management. This opens Disk Manager. Here's the C drive right here, 930 gigabytes. We call it a 1 terabyte drive. I'll right click on that and choose Shrink Volume. And it's checking out the drive right now to see how much can we shrink that. And then it's going to let me make adjustments to that amount of shrinkage. So we're going to shrink the C drive so that there's empty space available that we can use to store the backup image. So here it's showing total size before the shrink is 952. Size available shrink in megabytes, 694 megabytes. So it's, let's say the drive space is like that. It's trying to shrink so the C drive is really too small. I want it to be about half. So I'm going to change this number right here so it's about half. So 952, I'm going to say that half of that is, let's say 975. So I'll just type 975,000, press the tab key. I didn't want to say, I meant 475. Some of you are yelling at the screen about my mistake there. So here I see the amount of space to shrink, 475, and the total size after shrink is 477. That's pretty close to half. Close enough. And then click Shrink. How long does this take? You might think, oh, this is going to take a long time. Nope. No pausing here, no stopping of the video, no editing out. It's a pretty quick operation and it's done. So here's the C drive at 466 gigabytes. And what we're going to call the M drive weighs in at 463 gigabytes. My habit is to call it the M drive for Macrium. And that's why, anyway, anytime on a computer that I manage or support, if I see an M drive, I know that's the backup drive, the place to store. So I right click in this area, then choose New Simple Volume, then click Next. Then it's showing the size. I leave that as the default. It's taking up all of that space. Click Next. And then it allows me to assign a drive letter. I click on this drop-down menu and choose the M drive. And then click Next. And then it's going to format this volume. And I like to change the volume label and use the word Macrium Backups. And that way, if some other technician comes to work on this computer, they'll see the M drive is called Macrium Backups. That gives them a quick, easy clue as to the purpose of that M drive. We're going to do a quick format. That's fine. Click Next and then click Finish. Formatting, and it's done. It's just that quick. We now have an M drive to do the image backup to. So I'm going to close Disk Management. Notice here I have the C drive. Macrium Reflect has not recognized that change yet. The way I get it to fix that has come up here. I believe it's the View menu, has a refresh option. Click on Refresh, and now it shows here's the M drive and here's the C drive. Now what I'm going to do is click on this image, this disk link right here. Now notice all these check marks here. It's going to try to image all of those, or it thinks that's what I'm asking for. I don't want all of those. So I'm going to remove this check mark, and then I'm going to put a check mark on the C drive. That's enough. Really, all I need is the C drive. However, I get a better image restore if I allow these other partitions that are typically part of the computer's configuration, if I allow them to come back too. So sometimes what I'll do is put let all the check marks be on, but then remove the M check mark. You have to remove that, because if I try to create an image of all of these partitions, including the partition that it's being backed up to, it won't do that, because it's a cyclical thing. It's like that mirror in a mirror thing, or house of mirrors. Does not work well. You don't want to do that. It just won't do it. So anyway, these other partitions are really tiny. See, 14 megabytes, 26 megabytes, 16 megabytes, and out here, 538 megabytes. But the one that we care about, in my case, is 228 gigabytes. That's pretty big. So I'm going to go ahead and do all those partitions. Seriously, I have done it both ways, and I haven't seen that it makes a big difference. There is one of these partitions that could be, yeah, I don't even see one of these saying that it is the HP partition, but sometimes the HP partition has some recovery. I think it's called recovery, has some recovery capabilities in it. And it's possible I wiped that out a long time ago. So here, destination folder, where am I going to back it up to? I don't want to back it up to the E drive. So I'm going to click this three-dot menu out here to bring me up a window where I can browse for a folder. I'm going to expand the section for this PC, scroll down to the M drive, expand it. There's actually no folders on the M drive yet, so there's nothing for me to expand to. I want to create a folder on that drive to contain this backup image. So I'm going to click on this Make New Folder, and then I call it typically Macrium Backups. Basically the same name that I gave to the M drive volume. Again, this allows a technician in the future to easily understand what's going on here. Oh, now wait a minute, I did that wrong. Look, I got an extra level of folder there. So I can't, well, can I delete it? Yeah, looks like I can delete it from here. Wasn't sure I could. I want to rename this folder. So I'll right click on that and choose rename. And then Macrium Backups. I'll have to go back and look at the video and see how I did that, because I don't know. So I have Macrium Backups highlighted. I click the OK button, and now I have this indication here. The destination is the m:/Macrium Backups. This part down here, this check mark, is going to use the image ID of the computer, and that typically involves the name of the computer and then a code. Down here you can see image ID. So that's typically the name of the computer. Sometimes I leave it that way. I usually remove that check mark and put in a name that's a little more informative to me. So this is HP Envy, and actually the name that I know it as is Silver, because it is the silver one. The other one that I bought was red, now that I mentioned that. And then click Next. This has many settings here that you could select to customize the form of backup. We don't need to do any of that. We don't need a template for a backup plan. We can just leave all these check marks as they are if all we're doing is a quick and easy image backup to protect us against something we're about to do. So click Next. And then here's information about how this backup is going to run. Don't really care about the details of that, as long as I selected the partitions that I want and selected the destination. And then click Finish. And then I have an option for Run this backup now. Yes, I want to do that. Here's a Save Backup and Schedules as a backup definition file. So that means if I run this again, let's suppose that I make some changes to this computer before I do that upgrade to Windows 11. I want to do this same backup again. Naming it here makes it easier to do that. So I'll change this and call it image backup of C drive. You could call it anything that you want. And spelling counts just because my grammar school English spelling teacher might be watching this video. No, not true. I don't even know who that was. Click OK. And it's off and running, doing this backup. Shows time remaining over here on the right. It hasn't figured that out yet. The time estimates are typically not very accurate. They can vary a little bit. Sometimes they're more accurate than others. And let's see, up here it shows the time that I'm starting this and the date that I'm starting it. Now, I don't intend to leave this video running through this whole backup. I would guess this to take, here it said 2 hours a moment ago. Then it said 48 minutes. Now it says 39 minutes, 35, 33. So this is constantly changing. This top graph is for the current process. Each of these partitions is a different process. The bottom graph is for, I'm sorry, I said that backward. The top one is for overall progress. The bottom one is for current progress. So the current progress can be less than the overall progress. So now we're showing 27 minutes and 28 minutes for the overall progress. So that number can change a little bit as it finds it's capable of compressing files tighter or quicker or easier. Those numbers can change because it's estimating how long it's going to take based upon how much compression it's getting right now. When it finds it can squeeze a file to be a lot smaller, well, that file can be backed up quicker because it's smaller. So it doesn't know how much space it's going to find that it can compress as it's doing this. So that's part of the reason why this time estimate is so inaccurate. Basically, when this is done, I'll click a finish button. It'll give me a report of how that went. And you know what? I will pause the video here so I can show the end of that. But I'm not going to leave it running through the whole thing. So pausing in 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, that's just finishing up. And it shows image completed successfully in 28 minutes, 46 seconds. That's pretty close to the estimate that we were seeing. So then I'll just click OK on that and close Macrium, reflect, and then minimize my browser. So I've got these two PCs that are going to be lined up just like this on Tuesday. And if Windows 11 shows up in the media creation tool, then I will attempt to upgrade both of these computers to it. And we'll see how it goes. Wish me luck. Yeah. It may work, it may not any skin off my neck. What else? There's a whole lot of other stuff that could be talked about with Windows 11. I think that's good for now. So I hope this has been useful. Have a great day. Catch you later. Goodbye.